Dear respected elders, brothers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, Allah Almighty has gifted us with another Jummatul Mubarak, another blessed day, another day for us to reflect on the week which has passed and make some positive changes in the week which is yet to come. With the tawfiq of Allah. The ayahs I have recited from Surah Yunus, أَلَا إِنَّ أَوْلِيَاءَ اللَّهِ لَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. Allah Almighty states in the Quran Kareem, listen, the friends of Allah shall have no fear, nor shall they grieve. The friends of Allah, the awliya Allah, shall have no fear, nor shall they grieve. لَهُمُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَكَانُوا يَتَّقُونَ. Those who have believed and have been fearful of Allah. Those who have believed and have been fearful of Allah. لَهُمُ الْبُشْرَى فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ لَا تَبْدِيلَ لِكَلِمَاتِ اللَّهِ ذَلِكَ هُوَ الْفَوْزُ الْعَظِيمُ. For them there is the good news in the worldly life and in the hereafter. There is no change in the words of Allah. That is the greatest achievement. لَهُمُ الْبُشْرَى فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. These ayats are recited, commonly known, linked to the awliya Allah. And the message, the outline of today's speech, the outline of today's talk is simple. To mention one of the greatest awliya, to mention a great leader, a great example. And these awliya Allah are put into place. Today when we mention them in front of certain people, they question, do you need to visit their graves? Do you need to make them out to be that special? Are they that important? It's simple. These awliya Allah were put into place to pass down the correct message, to pass down the original Islam. After Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, how was the message going to be sent down? How would it be passed down? And it was shown through these people. It was shown through their character. And the greatest of greatest, Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani rahmatullah alayhi, we'll start right at the top. And we'll talk about his attributes. But before we touch that, there's a story about his dad. And only a son of that caliber can be born from such parents. And the example was set. His father, Abu Salih Musa, rahmatullah alayhi. You may have heard the story before. It's good to refresh and remind ourselves about the awliya Allah, how they had an impact in Islam, why we need to remember them, their importance, and ultimately how they can link us to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and then to Almighty Allah, because that link is the most important. Thousands and thousands of people talk about them, visit their graves. They must be important. So the father of Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani, rahmatullah alayhi, his father, a quick story. He was sitting on the bank of a river. And he was hungry at that time. He had sat there for a while. There was an apple passing. It may have fell from the tree, rolled on off the bank into the river. However, he picked the apple up. He picked the apple up and he started to eat it. And now, for somebody who has, on a normal scale, somebody like me or you will eat the apple, say Alhamdulillah, Allah sent an apple my way, I've eaten it, no problem, off I go. However, the khiyal, he thought deep, this apple actually belongs to somebody. What have I just done? It can partially come under the laws of theft. Having that in his mind, he walks down the bank, he follows the river, and he looks for a garden, a bath. He looks somewhere where there is fruit that it may have come from. In this day and age, illa mashallah, we take anything we can from anyone. Whether it be money, whatever we can grab, if it's business, if it's in general, the more we get, the happier we are. And on this we're talking about a scale. Look at the scale, just an apple. And he's worried, he's concerned that in my eyes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may see me as a thief. And if you compare it to what's going on around the world in this day and age, millions and millions, people openly steal from others, give as an amana, hold on to it, never give it back. The examples that go on in the world. So he sets out to find whose apple this is and ultimately apologize for the sake of Allah. He finds the garden, he enters the house, he knocks on the door, somebody comes out and he says, I believe I've eaten an apple from your tree, from your barn, from your garden. It had fallen down, it was in the river, I picked it up, I was hungry. Please do forgive me. Please forgive me for taking your property. And the answer was simple, I will forgive you. However, there's one thing you need to do for me. And he openly said, if that's what it takes, if that's what it takes for you to be pleased and you're happy, I will do this. He asked, what is it? He says, you have to marry my daughter. You have to marry my daughter. Now look, from where it started, something so small as an apple, and the test that he's about to be put through, and the outcome. In this day and age, if somebody, even if we did apologize to somebody, but they gave a shart, they gave you something to do, and then he will accept your apology, he will turn around and say, look, me coming here is enough. Me saying I'm sorry is enough, I'm walking away now. It's up to you to forgive me or not, but I've said, I've done my part. That's what, in this day and age, that's what would happen. If it was between us, that's exactly what, no one would say, I'll do this for you, and if you forgive me. However, these people, they feared Allah. The fear of Allah was in their hearts. Their iman was strong. Their characteristics, their Islamic characteristics and attributes were strong. However, he said, okay, I'll marry your daughter. He goes, before you marry my daughter, I'll let you know, she is disabled. She cannot walk. She cannot use her hands. She cannot see. She cannot talk. Her senses do not work. But that is my daughter and you have to marry her if you want me to forgive you. And at this time he was thinking, Allah, where have you put me? What situation am I in? One of the biggest events in your life, our life, would be marriage. And you hope to be happy, and you hope to live an Islamic lifestyle and fulfill the commands. However, he's been told she's disabled, she can't see, she can't talk. He thinks about it and he goes, okay, this is what it's going to take. The nikah is done. Everything's done, is completed, he's married. He knocks on the door. He knocks on the door where he believes his wife is in the room. That room, he knocks on it. An able person answers the door. A beautiful individual answers the door. And he says, I'm here for my wife. He looks at her and understands this can't be her. she's able, she's walking, she's talking. So he walks away, off he goes, he runs away in despair thinking, where is she? What is going on? The father brings him back inside, opens the door, takes him inside that same room, and he said, Abu Salih, this is your wife. Now ask me why I told you. Ask me why I told you she is disabled, she can't walk, she can't talk. It's simple. She replied, I am your wife. You accepted me in marriage. Listen to the interpretation of my disability. I am disabled from my eye, as I have not seen any other strange man. I am disabled from my ear, as I have not heard any unlawful thing. I am disabled from my tongue, as I have not spoken to any other strange man who is not a mahram for me. I am disabled from my hand, as I have not touched any unlawful thing. I am disabled from my feet, as I have not walked to any unlawful matter or place. I am disabled in these respects, otherwise I am perfectly fine. I'm a perfectly fine, able human being. However, this test, this trial, he was put through simply because he wanted to apologize. And then from these parents, from this great story, there's a great individual come alive. A great individual is born, who's Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani rahmatullah alayhi, the one who turns up to madrasa at a young age, 4 to 5. And through his mother, when he was in the stomach, and she used to do tilawat and recite the Quran al-Kareem, tarbiyah starts in the stomach. It's too late when your kid's as tall as you and you try to teach him. Tarbiyah starts within the mother's stomach. When he was born, old enough to go to the masjid, Ustad, the teacher said, start reading. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. He read by heart up to 15 separas, and he kept reading. The Ustad only set out to give him one ruku, half a page. But Abdul Qadir, he had learned them separas by heart. The connection from his mother reading when he was in the stomach, he knew these 15 separas by heart. These are the awliya Allah that we mentioned today. The word nisbat. Nisbat is something we need to understand. Nisbat is ultimately holding on to somebody, holding on to an individual, holding on to the awliya Allah, the people who can ultimately link you to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, who can guide you, because we need the guidance. خُلِقَ الْإِنسَانُ ضَعِيفًا. Man, humans need it. They need the guidance. They are weak. They need the reminders. Nisbat is something we need to understand. And I always give this example. These same pages, these same papers, the Quran al-Kareem is written on. Before they were blank sheets of paper, they meant nothing whatsoever. As soon as the Quran al-Kareem, Alif Lam Mim, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ, was printed on it. The nisbat of the Quran was printed on it. It turned into the holy kitab. Its maqam has become 10 times more. Before it was blank paper, blank sheet. It was not relevant whatsoever. As soon as the Quran was printed on it, as soon as that paper got the nisbat with the Quran, it becomes respected. Its maqam is totally different. The same reason when we go to Medina Sharif, our adab, ikhlaq, the way we carry ourselves. I know individuals who stay away from wearing any form of shoes, slippers, whatever it may be, in and around Medina Sharif.